Dear learners, welcome to this video lecture session. Today's topic is reversible work. This is 18th module of the course Thermodynamics and its application. I am Shubhashish Maji, professor in School of Engineering and Technology of Indira Gandhi National Open University. We have discussed about the first law of thermodynamics that speaks about the conservation of energy. We have also discussed about the second law of thermodynamics, which gives a very important property, that is entropy, that gives the direction of the process. We have also discussed about the Carnot engine, that is the reversible engine, and theoretically that gives the maximum efficiency. So today's topic is reversible work. After listening to this video lecture, you will be able to know the concept of reversible heat engine. You will be able to understand the reversible and irreversible process. You will be able to explain the internal and external reversibility, and you will be able to solve numerical related to reversible and irreversible process. A process is said to be reversible if after the process is completed, means can be found to restore the system and all parts of the surroundings to the states they were in at the start of the process. Let us consider an isolated system as shown in the figure. It is composed of 5 subsystems A, B, C, D and E. The subsystems might communicate thermally or mechanically. They might even transfer mass across their boundaries. If the subsystems A has energy transfer in the form of heat transfer and work with the other subsystems, then subsystem A is a control mass and the rest of the subsystems are surroundings to the control mass. So in this case we are considering an isolated system which is composed of 5 subsystems, out of which one subsystem, that is A, we are considering the control mass, and the rest of the subsystems like B, C, D and E are known as the surroundings for this subsystem, and the total system is an isolated system. The second law would say direction. On all isolated system processes, entropy final is greater than or equal to entropy initial. Thus, there is a forward and backward directions to all processes. When S final is greater than S initial, means entropy final is greater than entropy initial, then there is a forward direction only as stated by the second law of thermodynamics. Such process is called as irreversible. When S final is equal to S initial, that is entropy final is equal to entropy initial, then the forward and backward directions are equally possible. Such process is called as reversible. It should be noted that for a reversible process, entropy generation is 0. The second law of thermodynamics is a blunt statement that the most cherished wish of an engineer to convert all the heat transfer to work is unattainable laws of thermodynamics can never be violated as they are the laws of nature. Hence, having no alternative but to accept the second law of thermodynamics, an inquisitive engineer would like to probe deeper into the matter and look for answers to several logical questions which arise as a sequel to the restrictions imposed by the second law. Some of these very interesting and important questions are: number one, according to the Kelvin-Planck statement of the second law of thermodynamics, as it is not possible for a system operating in a thermodynamic cycle to completely convert all the heat transfer to it to an equal magnitude of work. What is the maximum conversion possible? Can this limit of conversion be predicted? Will the prediction be only qualitative or both qualitative and quantitative? How can such an ideal cycle, that is heat engine that gives maximum conversion, be conceived? Second question, can the predicted limit of conversion be realized in practice? If not, why? What precautions have to be taken in design of an actual engine so that its efficiency tends towards that of that ideal engine? Question number 3. According to the Clausius statement of the second law of thermodynamics, as it is impossible to transfer heat from a low temperature region to a high temperature region in the absence of work, what is the theoretical minimum work that can accomplish the task of transferring heat in the said direction under the given circumstances? Alternatively, as the COP, that is coefficient of performance, of the reverse heat engine is inversely proportional to the work supplied to it, what is its maximum performance, that is coefficient of performance? Number 4 questions, can this predicted minimum work do the work in actual practice? If not, why? What precautions have to be taken in the design of a heat pump or a refrigerator so that their performance tend towards the maximum predicted performance of an ideal reverse heat engine? It is needless to emphasize here that the answer to the above questions have very high economic and practical significance. This lecture is aimed at providing answers to some of these questions. Now, let us see what is reversible heat engines. The concept of a reversible heat engine is highly theoretical and imaginary in nature. A reversible heat engine is one which works most efficiently under the given circumstances. This means, while a reversible direct heat engine converts heat input to the system operating in a cycle to maximum work, a reversible reversed heat engine requires minimum work to cause a given heat transfer from a low temperature to a high temperature region. It is cautioned here that a reversible heat engine is only a mathematical model. We shall see later. No practical engine can actually be a reversible engine. What are the specialties of a reversible engine? To discuss this point, the learner must be thorough in his understanding of the concept of reversibility. The following crude example is aimed at helping the learner to do so. Consider a centrifugal gas turbine. High pressure, high temperature gas entering through the inlet pipe expands in the turbine to provide shaft work, and then it leaves the turbine as low pressure, low temperature gas through the exit pipe. This is the process of the centrifugal gas turbine. Let the efficiency of the turbine be eta T, where T subscript represents the efficiency of turbine. Assume now that this turbine is made to run in the opposite directions as a centrifugal compressor. This is practically possible with minimal modifications to the machine. In this case of low pressure, low temperature gas enters the compressor through the original exit of the turbine and gets compressed because of shaft work input. The direction or work is opposite to that of the turbine and leaves the compressor as high pressure, high temperature gas through the original entry to the turbine. When such an experiment is conducted, one finds out that the efficiency of the machine while operating as a compressor, eta C, C represents the efficiency of compressor, is always less than its efficiency while it operated as a turbine. In other words, the work required to drive 1 kg of air through the compressor under the given conditions is much more than the work delivered by the same kg of air flows through the device when it operates as a turbine. It can be generalized here that devices designed to operate in a particular direction, when made to operate in the opposite direction, can only work with an efficiency which is less than its value in the design directions. Suppose unique engine is imagined which works with identical efficiencies in both the designed and its opposite direction. Such an engine is a reversible engine. While the above understanding, one can now imagine a heat engine, direct or reversed, that is in general a system operating in a thermodynamic cycle, which would work equally well in both the forward and backward direction. Such a heat engine is reversible heat engine. The definition of the reversible heat engine can be stated as a heat engine having the heat interactions with the two different temperature reservoirs is said to be reversible if its efficiency while operating as a direct heat engine is equal to the reciprocal of its coefficient of performance when it works as a heat pump between the same two temperatures. In other words, for a reversible heat engine. So you can understand that if we consider a reversible engine, in this case it does work, but when it is working in the opposite direction, then work should be as an input so that the heat can be transferred from a low temperature region to a high temperature region as a heat pump. So we can say that a heat engine having heat interactions with the two different temperature reservoirs is said to be reversible if its efficiency while operating as a direct heat engine is equal to the reciprocal of its coefficient of performance when it works as a heat pump between the same two temperatures. In other words, for a reversible heat engine. Consider a reversible engine ER, where R represents reversible. In figure 2, the figure 2 comes just now, operating between two constant temperature system or reservoirs, while Q1R, R represents reversible, and Q2R are respectively the heat transfer to and from the heat engine. WR is the work output of the engine. The suffix R indicates that all interactions are with respect to the reversible heat engine. So in this case, you see that WR is work done by the system. It will be considered as positive, and Q1R is the heat input to the system, that is also considered to be positive, but Q2R, that is heat leaves from the system and delivers at a low temperature reservoirs, that will be considered as negative. Now let us look at the diagrams for reversible heat engine. One is direct heat engine, another one is reverse heat engine. But when you think of the efficiency of the reverse heat engine, that efficiency is equal to WR by Q1R, where WR is the work done by the engine and Q1R is the heat received as an input to the engine. So in this case, both are positive in the sense that WR is the work done by the system, considered as positive, and Q1R is the heat input to the system, it is considered as positive. But Q2R, it heat leaves from the engine, so it is considered as negative. Now when you consider the reverse heat engine, you see that the purpose of the heat pump that works as reverse heat engine is to extract heat from a low temperature region and transfer it to the high temperature reservoirs, but that is not possible unless and until you perform work. So that is work onto the system, that is known as WR star, that is work done onto the system. And in this case we have taken that Q1R star, that is Q1R is the heat delivered to the high temperature reservoir. But what is the work done for this system to be done onto the system? That is QR star, and Q2R star is heat taken out from the low temperature reservoirs. Here low temperature reservoirs whose temperature is T2 and the high temperature reservoir whose temperature is T1. Obviously T1 is always greater than T2. Let ER be now made to work as a heat pump between the same two reservoirs. Let the magnitude of heat transfer by the heat pump to the high temperature reservoir be Q1R. Note, however, that Q1R is negative with respect to the heat pump, whereas it is positive with respect to the direct heat engine. To accomplish this task, let the work input to the heat pump be WR star, that is work done onto the system, that is negative. WR in the direct heat engine is positive, but WR star is negative because this is work done onto the system for an heat pump. And heat transfer to it from low temperature reservoir be Q2R star. Note again that Q2R star is positive for the heat pump, but Q2R for engine in the case of direct heat engine is negative. Dear learners, we know the expression for the COP, that is coefficient of performance for a heat pump, is equal to Q1R divided by WR star. Combining the equations, it can be shown that WR divided by Q1R is equal to 1 whole divided by Q1R by WR star. This is the definitions for the reversible engine. So we can get the final expression, that is WR divided by Q1R is equal to WR star divided by Q1R. So finally we are getting WR is equal to WR star. Applying first law to reversible heat engine, we can write Q1R minus Q2R star equal to WR star equal to WR. Applying first law to reversible heat engine, we can write Q1R minus Q2R is equal to WR. From equations, it can be seen that Q2R is equal to Q2R star. The above analysis brings out clearly the uniqueness of the reversible heat engine, which may be generalized as follows. If a heat engine operating between two reservoirs at different temperatures is reversible, then the magnitude of heat interactions it has with each reservoir and also the magnitude of work interactions it has with the surroundings are the same. Irrespective of whether the heat engine works as a direct heat engine or as a reverse heat engine, that is a heat pump or refrigerator, but for their directions. Reversible process. Let us now examine what exactly are the features of a reversible heat engine. As has already been clear, a heat engine is nothing but a system operating in a cycle. If a heat engine is reversible, it means the thermodynamic cycle on which it operates is reversible. A thermodynamic cycle consists of more than one non-cyclic process. Hence, if a cycle is reversible, all the processes that constituted the cycle have to be individually reversible. This makes it necessary to define and understand what exactly a reversible process is. A process is said to be reversible if, after the process is completed, means can be found to restore the system and all parts of the surroundings to the states they were in at the start of the process. Although this is the definition of a reversible process, further explanation may be necessary to make it clear to the learner. Here is an attempt in this direction. A process 1-2 is reversible only when all changes in the system and all parts of the surroundings during this process are completely undone when process 2-1 is carried out. In such a case, there can be no evidence left either in the system or in the surroundings to say later that the system had actually been subjected to two processes in opposite directions. If a process is reversible, it is possible to change the direction of the process by making infinitesimal changes in the conditions that control the process. To satisfy all these conditions, it is necessary that reversible process occurs very slowly with no dissipative effects and that the gradient which control the process are infinitesimally small, so that the system is always in equilibrium with its surroundings. This explanation makes it very obvious that a reversible process is a quasi-static process or a fully resisted process. The condition under which a process can be reversible are so unique. It can be said that a reversible processes are ideal process and hence are only mathematical model. All natural processes and almost all man-made processes are not reversible in nature, but the extension of the definition of a reversible process, it can be said that any process which is not reversible is an irreversible process. Irreversible process, it is really necessary to know what factors actually make a process irreversible. Once these factors are identified, means can be found in practice to either minimize or eliminate, if possible, the effects of these factors, so that in the limit the process can be tend towards a reversible process. Existence of dissipative effects or lack of equilibrium between the system and the interacting surroundings are responsible for any process to be irreversible. Therefore, generally, the factors that make a process irreversible are friction, unresisted expansion, heat transfer with finite temperature difference. Now we must know what is internal and external reversibility. During a given process, the factors that make the process irreversible may exist either only in the system or only in the surroundings or in both the system and surroundings. If the factors exist only in the system and not in the surroundings, the process is internally irreversible but externally reversible. Similarly, if the factors exist only in the surroundings and not in the system, then the process is internally reversible but externally irreversible. If the factors exist in both system and surroundings, then the process is said to be totally irreversible. For example, consider the system undergoing the cycle in a Carnot heat engine explained earlier. During the isothermal expansion process, the system is not only at steady and uniform temperature but also has heat interactions with a reservoir which is at the same temperature as its own. Similarly, when the isothermal compression process, also the system is at a steady uniform temperature and is transferring heat to the reservoir at a temperature equal to its own temperature. In other words, the heat transfer in a Carnot heat engine occurs by virtue of practically no temperature difference. Hence, the Carnot engine is both internally and externally reversible. Let us discuss another example now. Consider a system undergoing a cycle consisting of two reversible isothermal and two reversible adiabatic. The system may be said to be undergoing a Carnot cycle during the isothermal expansion process. Although the system temperature is steady and uniform at T1, let the high temperature reservoir transfer heat to the system be at TH, where TH is greater than T1. Similarly, during the isothermal compression process, let the system be at a steady and uniform temperature of T2, but let it transfer heat to the low temperature reservoir at TL, where TL is less than T2. In such a cycle, although there are no factors internally that make the cycle irreversible, there are such outside the system heat transfer with finite temperature difference. Hence, although the cycle undergone by a system is internally reversible, it is externally irreversible. Now let us take up some cases, that is, check for the presence or otherwise of all the factors of irreversibility in the following cases and classify them as either reversible or irreversible. Also, wherever possible, comment on the internal or external reversibility. Assume that all cases the properties are uniform throughout the system at any given instant. First case, a mass of gas is compressed slowly in a frictionless, leak-proof, non-conducting piston cylinder mechanism. So, whether it is reversible or irreversible, let us analyze. The process is reversible as there are no factors of irreversibility in it. It is worth recalling here that this process is actually one of the four processes that constitute the Carnot cycle. A weight slides slowly down a rough inclined plane. Obviously, the process is irreversible. Third example, 1 kg of water is heated very slowly, but from 30 degrees centigrade to 40 degrees centigrade by an inflow of heat. The process can be a reversible process. In such a case, the water is heated slowly, step by step, by bringing it in communication successively with several reservoirs, each with a temperature infinitesimally higher than the other, starting from the one at 30 plus dt. degrees centigrade, slightly more than 30 degrees centigrade, to the last one at 40 degree plus dt degree. In this manner, the factor heat transfer with finite temperature difference, which makes the process otherwise irreversible, is eliminated. Next case is 1 kg of water is heated slowly but adiabatically from 30 to 40 degrees centigrade by paddle wheel mounted on a frictionless pulley. The process obviously is irreversible. Next example is 1 kg of water is heated rapidly from 30 degree to 40 degree. Rapid heating requires a large temperature difference between the water being heated and the external system supplying heat transfer, such an electric heater or a burner. This temperature difference makes the process irreversible. 1 kg mixture of petrol and oxygen contained in a sealed vessel immersed in a large pool of water at 27 degrees centigrade reacts spontaneously. This is an irreversible process for two reasons. Because of the spontaneous combustion, there will be a rise in temperature of the vessel containing the combustion products. The vessel transfer heat to the pool of water due to this temperature difference. The process is internally irreversible due to the combustion of heat transfer with finite temperature difference. However, the process is externally reversible as the temperature of the large pool of water hardly changes. A steam at 100 degrees centigrade mixes with liquid water at 25 degrees centigrade in a non-conducting heater. Obviously, this process is irreversible. Now let us very quickly solve a numerical. Consider three hypothetical heat engines A, B and C, each operating between 1000 K and 300 K. When each engine involves itself with a heat interactions of 1000 kilojoule with the high temperature reservoir, it is claimed that while A develops a work of 600 kilojoule, B and C develops 700 kilojoule and 800 kilojoule. Use the Carnot statement and identify the engine A, B, C as reversible, irreversible or impossible. Dear learners, I'll just give you the hint. You can try at your leisure time. So the temperature differences are given. In this case, the temperature of the hot reservoir is 1000 K and temperature of the cold reservoir, that is sink temperature, is 300 K. So you can calculate the efficiency of Carnot efficiency and that comes out to be 70%. But for the first case, that it gives output 600 kilojoule, so efficiency is 60%. For the second case, which is in the middle, that gives an output of 700 kilojoule, efficiency is 70%. That is equal to the maximum efficiency one can achieve for Carnot heat reversibility engine. And in the last case, the output is given as 800 kilojoule. So here efficiency is 80%. It is more than the Carnot efficiency. So the middle one is the reversibility engine, and the first one that gives 600 kilojoule, that is possible, but that is irreversible engine, and the last one which gives 800 kilojoule is impossible. So here I have calculated the efficiency of A, B and C, and finally we get that engine A, which gives 600 kilojoule as an output, that is irreversible. The middle one is reversible and the other one is impossibility. So let us very quickly summarize what we have discussed in today's lecture. We have discussed the concept of reversibility engine, we have discussed the reversible and irreversible processes, and we have also discussed the internal and external reversibility, and finally we have solved one very interesting problem which gives you clear idea what is reversible and irreversible processes. Thank you very much for today's discussion.